question.
Comments? The Honourable Member for Saanich, Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and to my colleague from Courtenay, Alberni. Another question from Vancouver Island, and a thanks to Columbia for that last round too, because I was just going to ask where my honourable colleague thinks we should be, where we should stand on the issue of raw log exports. Obviously, Canadians need a Team Canada effort. Tonight's Take Note debate lets us focus on the quite unfair and unexpected increase in duties from the U.S. Department of Commerce. But let's look at the reality. Why do we let a single raw log get exported out of BC when we could be putting that through mills? And I'll connect this back to the issue of productivity. The more we only export products that are value-added, it improves Canada's productivity. A productivity crisis is enhanced when we export any resource product without value added, which is a crime against the environment and our workers.
The Honourable Member for Courtenay, Alberni.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank my colleague for the great question. I know she's raised many times in this House her concerns around raw log exports, especially when we look at the Alberni Valley where I live. She knows full well there's still boats being loaded right now, Madam Speaker, to the hilt of raw logs when our local mills can't even get access to supply. It's absolutely ridiculous, Madam Speaker. And like I said, Mosaic came forward with a request for relief, basically to bypass putting their timber up for bid to local mills, Madam Speaker. It would have put them completely out of business. It was actually our party and myself that went to the wall to get the federal government to back down. But that's not good enough. We actually need a restructuring and a new model of how we do BC timber sales and how the Raw Log Export Board works. We need to make sure that the fiber that's put up for bid, that we do everything we can to ensure that that fiber goes to our local mills. And that is certainly not the priority right now of the federal government, Madam Speaker. If the timber companies go after that wood, they get blocked by the big players and they get penalized, Madam Speaker. That's exactly what happens. And then they get hammered, and we're seeing businesses sidelined and put out of business. So right now, the big conglomerates can block and knock them right out. And that's not working for small producers and small mills, Madam Speaker. It needs to be completely revisited. And I'm glad my colleague from Saanich Gulf Islands asked that excellent question. But the Minister of International Trade, she needs to show leadership on this. This has been going on for decades, and it hasn't been resolved.